Hello and welcome to Alaska. We're at our very first port of call, an early afternoon stop in Juneau. Juneau, of course, the capital of Alaska. Interesting fact about Juneau, it's only accessible by plane or by water, as we've come today, because there are no roads into or out of Juneau. So pretty cool to be here by cruise ship. My cruise ship is behind me here. This is the Holland America Koningsdam, and I am visiting at the end of May. It's actually Memorial Day here in 2026. Currently 51 degrees Fahrenheit here. It's beautiful, about 2 p.m. in the afternoon. I'm about to go meet my short excursion in just a minute, and I want to say thank you to my friends at Short Excursions Group for sending me on today's excursion and a couple of excursions that we'll see in this video. I'll tell you exactly which ones those are. If you're looking for a neat short excursion for your cruise, I encourage you to check them out. I'm actually going to put my link down there in the description below. Go check that out. But trust Short Excursions Group and go with them all around the world, not just here in Alaska, but the Caribbean. I've done it in Asia, Europe. But today we're going to go with them on a whale watching tour, and then we're going to go to Mendenhall Glacier and check that out. Now, Mendenhall Glacier is certainly the highlight of the experience here in Juneau. It's like the thing that most all the tours will go do. So enough of me talking. Welcome to Alaska. Let's check out a little bit of Juneau. And the cool thing about the dock, you can see there's multiple ships here today, by the way, but it's right here in the town. So you come off of your cruise ship, and the first thing you're gonna see, a lot of tours, a lot of people offering day of tours. Maybe if you didn't book something ahead of time, you certainly could do that. But I do encourage you, again, Short Excursions Group, and it's actually pretty wild. I mentioned the temperature, but with the sun, it feels a little bit warm, a little bit too warm even. I'm just wearing like a hoodie pullover right now, but it's quite warm. Now, as it is the last week of May when I'm visiting, it's just the very start of tourism season here. Usually starts sometime in late April, early May, and it'll extend sometime through mid to late September when things start to get really cool. Probably gonna be the warmest sometime in June, July, and August if you're visiting. So definitely if you're coming in April, May, it's gonna be a little bit cooler than it'll be later on in the summer. So just know that and plan accordingly. I brought a hoodie. This is probably the lightest jacket that I brought. I've got a couple of other jackets and a rain jacket as well, because it's always rainy, always some rain in Alaska. We got really lucky today with beautiful sunshine, but I do think this is gonna be kind of the odd day out in our trip, because I think this is probably going to be the nicest weather that we're going to have. Stay tuned and we'll see what the weather's like tomorrow. So just leaving the port area here, going to cross the street, because when you come away from the port area, everything is relatively close, and the ship, like I said, does dock right in the downtown area, so it's not like you're going to have to take a bus to get into the town itself. You can literally just walk within half a mile or so and probably see just about everything here in Juneau. There are at least 4 big cruise ships in port today, so a lot of people flooding into the streets here, but here's a Alaska Fudge company in there. So just walked a little ways into town here just to show you some of the things available. I did want to mention right across the street here, there's actually a U.S. Post Office over there, because of course we are in the United States. So if you do need to mail letters, or maybe, I don't know why you would have bills with you on vacation, but if you need to mail anything or wanted to send someone a postcard, you certainly can do that from here. And another thing to remember, if you have a U.S. cell phone carrier, that you can use your cell service, most of those here in Alaska, because again, it's part of the 50 states. So just check your terms and conditions, but I just now turned my phone on and it connected right away, and I have a Verizon wireless. So you should be able to get your cell service here, no problem. So this here is the Red Dog Saloon. This is actually famous. A lot of folks come here. This is just right across from the pier though. Again, there's our ship. So if you got off and just came right across the street, then this would bring you right out here. And there are a lot of other little shops here too. We're just over here back beside the pier now. Just wanted to show you a few sites over here that may be of interest to you. There is the Alaskan Brewing Public House. Coming up next is a site that we know and we love, right? We respect everywhere. The Diamonds International, this big purple building. And then another famous location right beside that with Tracy's King Crab Shack. Never actually been here before myself, but understand this is the place for king crab. But definitely pack your patience, as there is always a line to get in here, probably no matter what day you come. Because the reality is that in the summer, there probably is no good day to be in Juneau, because, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actually large cruise ships here in port today. There's a lot of people. It's a little town here, so a lot of people packed into this small town. Pack your patience. Kind of reminds me of, and this may be a little controversial to say, but I'm going to say it, having grown up in East Tennessee, and I know a lot of you have visited before Gatlinburg, Tennessee, a little mountain town. Kind of get that same vibe here in Juneau, but it's definitely small like that. A lot of things to see and do. That means that the sidewalks are packed with people. Right here is another area of interest, the Gold Belt tram that actually takes you up the side of the hill here. You have great views of Juneau down below, but unfortunately, as you can see here, there's no line inside. It's not operational. It's been down, I think, all season so far. I think there was an incident with the tram, but it is not going today and hasn't been going like that all season so far. But you can see up there the terminus with a good view up there on top of the mountain down below. But here's the actual tram itself, not in operation today. And I think this back here is actually where I'm going to be meeting my tour here in just a few minutes. So I'm going to find my tour and we will get out on our first excursion here in Alaska. So we actually switched up the order a little bit of the tour today. So we've come to Mendenhall Glacier first. So welcome to Mendenhall Glacier. It is very busy here right now. And in fact, our tour guide was telling us that it is not typical for there to be 5 large cruise ships in port at once. And just take in the stunning view. I love coming here because, and to Alaska in general, because there's a cool crispness in the air, and also the air just seems a little bit fresher here. It is cool also to be this close to a glacier. And they were saying this is the most accessible glacier in Alaska. All the others are pretty much only accessible by boat or by plane, but this one, you know, you can actually bring a bus up to and walk right up next to it almost. So there's a lot of different things to see here. A lot of wildlife though, so definitely be on the lookout, certainly for bears. There is a visitor center that you can go to that tells you a lot about the Mendenhall Glacier back up the hill here. But I'm gonna walk right down to Mendenhall Lake first and show you that because it's really neat. And this is where you're definitely gonna get the best views of the glacier. So I highly recommend to you that you'll see the pavilion here, come around it, come down in it, come right down to the lake. And this is gonna be the area where you can get the best pictures and the best views of Mendenhall Glacier. So let's take in some of those views right now. After a very short walk, now we'll come to the shore of Mendenhall Lake. Definitely start to feel that cooler air as the wind blows out across this cold water. I remember the last time I came, there were actually some chunks of ice out in the lake, and I don't see that this time. Always amazing to see a glacier and to know that this water has been frozen and in that state for so long, and now so much of it is melting away. In fact, so much of it was melting away earlier this year, and they had so much rainfall that there was flooding here. Mendenhall Lake and the Mendenhall area, there was massive flooding around Juneau and this part of Alaska because of the excessive amounts of rainfall that they were getting. what a really cool experience today in Juneau. Getting to go over to Mendenhall Glacier, that was a treat. And then getting to go whale watching. We actually were told by the naturalist who was leading the tour and the tour guide, we got really lucky today and we saw many more whales than they typically see this time of year. So a fantastic time on our short excursion, and it's just the beginning. It's currently it's like 8 p.m. so it's getting late, but it'll still stay light here till after 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. But we're not going far tonight. We're just going to go up the channel a little bit up to Skagway, and that is where I will catch up with you tomorrow, where we have a fantastic adventure to the Yukon. And when we take the White Pass Railway and a bus, I think. So make sure that you keep watching, and I'll see you in the morning from Skagway. Good morning from beautiful, windy and cold, but beautiful nonetheless, Skagway, Alaska. My favorite place that I've been to so far in Alaska. Was here on my last cruise, which is my first cruise to Alaska. I really love this place. So excited to be back. And I don't know that I would take an Alaska cruise that did not feature Skagway. We're gonna see some really exciting things today, because today, again with our friends at Short Excursions Group, we're going on a tour. It's like an all-day, 8-hour tour. I think the plan is to take a bus up to the Yukon. So I'm going to be crossing into Canada. So I have to bring my passport for this tour. And then we bring the White Pass Railway back to Skagway later today. We'll make many stops along the way, see so many things. So this is going to be a day of sightseeing, and you're going to see in this footage exactly why you should book this very excursion through Short Excursions Group when you come to Alaska. It's currently 39 degrees Fahrenheit and windy. I'm wearing layers. I've got my outer rain jacket. Layer up when you come to Skagway, because it's probably going to be cold. Rustic Alaska Day. That's what it's going to be today. So let's go. I did want to mention here too that Skagway is one of the most charming, again, places that I've seen in Alaska, because it's just a tiny little town. This was the boom for the gold rush back in the day. It was Skagway. This was they built the railway to go up into the Yukon so that they could find some gold, like an embarkation gold mining town. And it's a tiny little town here. So if you're not going on a tour, maybe you don't want to, go up into the mountains or take the railway or whatever, you can just walk. The pier that I'm on now, I can look all the way down Main Street. I can keep walking and go right into the little town. There's shops down there. If we have time later, we might explore it, depending on what time we get back later today. One of the many beauties about sailing in Alaska is you do port right in the heart of these cities. You can just walk a little way from your ship and see a lot without having to go on an excursion. But I do recommend an excursion, and you'll see why in just a bit.
And a lot of these buildings, they are original from the days of the gold rush. So over on the left, the Red Onion Saloon used to be a bar and brothel, one of dozens here during the height of the gold rush in Skagway.
Welcome back to Canada. After coming about 15 miles up the mountain, an elevation of about 3,300 feet, we have crossed now into Canada. As said earlier, we did have to bring our passports for this. We did get to stop off though and see the Welcome to Alaska sign, which was cool. And our tour guide said these right here are called the international bathrooms because they are here on the border between the United States and Canada, and are the only restrooms around for quite a while. But it's very cold. It's around 30 degrees Fahrenheit up here right now. But very beautiful scenery, of course. So welcome officially to the Yukon, where we have arrived at Wild Adventure Yukon. There's a lot here though. There is a barbecue lunch that was included in the excursion. I actually got to go back here and enjoy that. Some barbecue chicken, some coleslaw, a roll, a donut, some tea, and you can actually eat in these little covered wagons if you want to. So that's really neat, but it is quite cold here. I think it's about 34 degrees Fahrenheit, but it is beautiful here. Here's a map just showing the facilities. We're here, we've just come out of lunch, but there are restrooms here. There's a cafe. Then there is a wildlife museum and gift shop. There's gold panning, and then there is dog cart rides and petting farm. Apparently they have some of the sled dogs here. We're actually in the town, or the small town of Carcross, which is the 7th largest city in Yukon, and only like 300 residents there. So Yukon only has about 30,000 total residents. And I think in total, so we left Skagway area about 9:30, and we probably arrived here, it is currently 12:11, so probably around 11:30, 11:45. So over 2 hours it took for us to drive up here. It was pretty steep as we were driving along. In fact, they said at one point we went up 3,300 feet in elevation in just 11 miles. And that's one of the steepest drives in North America. So that was pretty neat. But we've come back down in elevation now as we've come here to Carcross, the Wildlife Museum here. They actually said this was the largest mounted polar bear in the entire world. And I don't know how they keep track of that or know that, but pretty interesting. Anyway, they have like one of everything in here too. The sled dogs, you can actually pay and do a sled dog experience to be pulled behind them. Not gonna do that. We now made it back to the train station, just here at the Canadian border where we were going to start our ride down. The tour guide was telling us these bikes you see here, you can actually rent bikes, and they'll bus you up here to the Canadian border, and you can drive back downhill to Skagway. No thank you. It's a little too cold for that, but it is mostly downhill, I guess. You can see all the buses as folks are either departing the train, a lot of folks, from Skagway, and they're going to take the buses back down, or they're doing what we're doing, which is getting off the buses to now get on the train. So yeah, it should be a fun train ride down on the White Pass Railroad down to Skagway.
Hello everyone, I'm Todd. I am your rowing tour guide today, which means I'm here to answer questions, comments, or concerns that you may have.
Now back in the booming metropolis of Skagway, Alaska. We came Back when we were at Carecross, we were about 70 miles from here. So between the drive on the van and the train ride was probably about 30, 35 miles of that. It took about an hour and a half, but we are back now. There's a lot of shops down here. There's actually a Del Sol back there, which I thought was pretty funny because, you know, Del Sol is typical of the Caribbean ports, but you do see a lot of jewelry shops here. So typical cruise port shops, because pretty much this downtown area of Skagway caters from May to September, or April to September, to cruise tourists. So obviously now why Skagway is my favorite, with views like that. Got off the train and it's about a mile, roughly, give or take, from where the train drops you off to the port, but they will bring you. They're not going to drop you off. There were buses, but I elected to walk. Good morning from Endicott Arm, as we are headed up Endicott Arm right now, and you can see floating out there some indications of where we're headed. That indicates that we are headed toward a glacier, because all this ice is going away from the glacier, which it's fallen off of. So we'll be there in an hour or two, I think. But it is beautiful out here. You see there's a waterfall just right up there. So plenty of things to see as we are doing some scenic sailing. Welcome to Ketchikan, Alaska, our last stop of this cruise, where it's raining. And that's nothing new, because it is typically raining in Ketchikan pretty much anytime you come here. Now, if you're coming here, well, if you're watching this, I'm sure you're coming here on an Alaska cruise. It's probably either going to be your first stop or your last stop, because it is the southernmost point in southeast Alaska. It's one of the rainiest places in all of Alaska. Now, you'll see the Tongass National Forest here, so you don't see a lot of the snow-capped peaks here because we are further south and in the Tongass National Forest. But today we're going to explore the downtown portion of Ketchikan. I've been here before, but have never actually been in the town. I was up at Ward Cove, which is where the Norwegian dock is. It's separate from the downtown area. So we'll walk around and explore it. We're also going to check out the Lumberjack Show. So that's the plan for today. Let's get on up here and get to the Lumberjack Show and see what that's like. That's the big thing to do here. So here at the ship, this is right at the end of the pier. They told us to come on up. You can see our ship here, the Holland America Koningsdam, but they said to walk all the way down the pier. There is a map right here, and as I understand it, pretty much everything in the downtown Ketchikan area is right here at the pier, at the port. So should be able to do plenty of shopping and plenty of sightseeing. So we are right here. We are at berth 3 today on the Koningsdam. So we're just gonna go, she said it was like right up here somewhere. Oh, not there. Does it say? It's not on this map actually, but it's down here somewhere. We'll find it, I'm sure. This is Mission Street. I do believe you can see the Mission Street Market down there. So certainly a place to come. You can see folks getting a photo there under the sign. So definitely somewhere you'll want to explore when you come to Ketchikan. And yeah, this is the liquid sunshine gauge, just to show you a little bit about the rain. In fact, they get 12.5 feet of rainfall on average a year. The January average temperature is 32.6 degrees, and the July average is 57.5 degrees. Of course, that's all in Fahrenheit. So pretty cool. And in relation to all of Alaska, you see the greatest land area of Alaska up here, and then Ketchikan all the way down here. Of course, it wouldn't be a cruise port anywhere without a Tanzanite or Diamonds International, so that's here. Also, the Alaska King Crab Company. King Crab, very big here, the Dungeness crab, so lots of places that you can get crabs. This is the Alaska Crab Company, and this seems like another general store. It says that it's home of Alaska's largest king crab legs on the 3rd floor. So they have a restaurant up, and then a convenience store, shirt store, gift shop area down where you can get a lot of t-shirts and things. So if you want to do some shopping, this may be your last chance for some Alaska souvenirs too, if this is the last stop on your cruise. So just know plenty of shopping here in Ketchikan. just like this. All of these things right here next to the Great Alaskan Lumberjack Show, which is where we are headed. And you can get tickets inside if you didn't get them through the cruise line. I got mine through Holland America because I had some short excursion credit. But they do have shows today starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. We didn't get here until 11, so we couldn't have done that. I think the only two options we had were 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So I'm going to the 3 o'clock, and shows are 1 hour long. So know that if you're coming, you can get tickets. I looked online for about $43. This is 2026 as of filming this, about $43 per adult. So do definitely see how that compares to what the cruise line's charging you. You may be able to get them cheaper here. Got a little bit of everything here in Ketchikan today. We got the mist, the overcast, and now the full sun out here. But that was a pretty good show. I would definitely recommend it for something to do in Ketchikan. It was a little bit of hokey humor. It was good. It was entertaining. Now I'm just walking through Ketchikan. I'm wanting to go over to Creek Street, which is one of the most famous areas in Ketchikan, and we'll take a look at that before we head back through the downtown area to get back over to the ship. But it's very beautiful here now that the sun's broken out. See the harbor out here. What a beautiful view. And then turning around this way, you can see this old bridge here. And where we want to be is over there, Creek Street, with the old buildings over there. It's a lot of shops and stuff. It's more places to, you know, if you want to buy some merchandise and things, you certainly can do that here. Here we are, the entrance to Creek Street. Now, a lot of the businesses are probably going to be closed at this hour. I did take a break, and it's now closer to 5 p.m. So I think some things have already closed. But this is really cool. It's really rustic and charming. You can see named for the creek that does flow through here. And there's a lot more shops too if you go on past and keep on walking down this street. But I'm gonna turn back now since everything's kind of closed anyway, and start heading back to the ship. So I hope you've enjoyed our time here in Alaska, seeing all the beautiful sights and all the excursions I've gone on this trip. And I hope that Ketchikan has shown you that there are some places in Alaska, because of where you dock in the town, that you can just walk and do things on your own. But in others, like we saw in Skagway and getting out and seeing what we got to see in Juneau, you're definitely going to want to book a tour or a short excursion in those places. And that's why I highly recommend my friends at Short Excursions Group. I want to say thank you again to them. And if you're interested in checking out Short Excursions Group, I highly recommend that you do. Go click my link down in the description below to go to Short Excursions Group and find your next short excursion for your next cruise. I promise you won't be disappointed. They do a fantastic job. And I'm so happy to work with them and so happy to take their tours all over the globe. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw in this video, I invite you to go down below, hit that subscribe button to go on adventures like these all the time. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. It does help out my channel. Thank you so much for watching. And from here in Ketchikan, Alaska, I'll see you on the next adventure.